Even for that also it's not doing. Maybe like I will take a very simple command, which here also it can work. PS command I do. PS means to list the processes, right? I will check. Generally, this ls-a is not a bad command. It works perfectly. But we are not even in a single Linux system, but it's a container. Maybe due to that I'm thinking. But if I run right now this code, you see what happened? Okay, now it is fine. You can understand. This PS command it is executing, but did you see the result is what? 0. Means when some command was not executable successfully, it will give a result as 0, so non-zero. If it is successful, it will give a 0. But can you get the list of process IDs from it? You cannot get. Means with os.system, we can execute something, but we cannot capture the output. If you want to capture the output, that's where subprocess comes to picture. What is this subprocess? This subprocess, for working on subprocess, even the subprocess module, if you see, if I go for like the dir of the subprocess, say like I'm giving print of dir of subprocess. Clear? Did you see? It has a good number of list of attributes. If you ignore the basic things ahead, but still you can see. Did you see every module will have other modules also part of it? I told you. So in those modules also they may use the basic modules. That's the reason OS module, sys module, time module, these are also there. So from now for every module you see, you will see other modules also like an attributes. I told you why that happens. But apart from that, it also has a good number of attributes. So what all things we can do? Let's see. So first, if you just want to execute, like how this os.system is executing, so there is something called as subprocess dot there is something called as check call, check output, get status, like that they were there. So if I want, I can go with this. Yeah, subprocess dot call. The same command I give PS. So if I just want to execute, I get the result. Subprocess dot call. So I do a result is equal to maybe like result 2. I write. So print of f of result 2. Okay. I think result 2 I am asking. Now if I clear the screen, if I execute, did you notice? In result and result 2 also, they executed, but it got what? 0. But if you give some other command, it will give us 1, right? Maybe like, if you want to just execute, so run a command. If you have a command, any command, it can run it. Maybe like I'm making it generic such that you can see. So instead of giving this one, I can give that command cmd. So here also I can give a cmd. Now it's easy, right? For me, I can say run a command is a function. For that I pass so ps. Similarly, earlier we were failed with something else, something like so pst. I'm writing. So you see now, clear screen, and I'm running. So did you see what happened when you did a pst? So it was having a failure. So where it was a failure, os command has executed perfectly. If there is an issue, it was showing like that. Whereas ps dot subprocess dot call, when there is an issue, it is throwing an error. That's a difference. Whereas when you give a successful command, how they are responding, see. So both are executing, but you are getting result as 0 or 1. With that, we can understand whether everything is good or not. And in the same fashion, if you want to get the result also, So if you just want to execute command, so we can go like this. But what if you want to grab the output? So to get the output, execution, execution output if you want, then we need to go slightly different. I will do here subprocess itself. So with subprocess, we can do whatever we are doing there. At the same time, subprocess does one more thing. With a subprocess.Popen, means first we need to open a process. For that process, you need to give any command. Say like I give ps command itself. And then I need to open my process. Say my process, like this I need to create. So observe this carefully, very careful. So whenever you create a process, if you ask, hey, what is this process? If you see now, clear screen and you are asking, so Python entire path. Now did you see what happened? So it has executed and it gave you the output, but you didn't find. So it has executed. You are seeing the output. But like if you want to capture, so the one thing that you need to be aware is, so there will be two teams. Every time you execute a process, there will be two things. Either if everything is good, there will be an output. If not, there will be an error. So these two will come here. Till now, when you execute anything, you will get one value. But here you will get two values. So the process, dot communicate we need to do. So now in this way, what will happen? The process will first create and execute during communication, and when it executed, it will give the response. Now I will ask, hey, what is the value of output? Observe, it's very interesting. So output is equal to. In the same fashion, if I ask, hey, what is the error? Equal to. Now if you execute, did you see? It has executed again this time also, but you got error also nothing, output also nothing. This is a very common problem that everyone need to understand. So when it is executing, the output will come right. Where it should store? There should be some buffer. This one everyone should really understand. So there is something called as subprocess.Pipe. This subprocess.Pipe. This is some kind of buffer. Whenever you want to store input or output, then you need to do this pipe. So it's a general practice that whatever the command you give, you pass that command. Apart from this command, you pass your both input std in is equal to subprocess.pipe. Similarly, std out is equal to subprocess.pipe. So similarly, std error also is equal to subprocess.pipe. Means what you are trying to say, hey, whether you get an output or an error or even the input also, you place to this pipe. Means you are storing them. Now in this case, if I execute the same result, did you see what happened? Instead of just running the command, so the entire output came here. But what is this? It's so crazy, we cannot understand. Did you understand that it is a string, but before that string there is a B? If I give you what is the type of this output, you will understand that it is of type bytes. So byte strings. So I told you most of the data outside is a byte string. Be it like binary. So to be precise, if you take an image, it's a binary. If you take a video, it's a binary. So most of the world data is like in a binary form. So if the binary data is coming, what can we understand? So to understand that, we can decode it. So output dot decode of UTF-8. So now if you see in this case, did you see now it is a ordinary string? Maybe like, after doing this conversion, I will ask again, hey, what is the data type? Now if you see, initially it is bytes, then it became a string type. Fine. Now we understood this concept. By default, it will be in bytes. We need to convert to strings. That is also fine. So similarly, not only the output, even the error also we need to do like that. Whatever you are getting, you need to convert to the decode to so and so. So now you see, if I execute, you get the entire output. And of course, this is a f print. F print will be a raw representation. But if you do like an ordinary print, so I told you the difference. If you do like an ordinary print of output, then you can see the entire content. Means f print will be an REPR string. So this is an ordinary string. That's what is printing. Now, let's say this string I need to parse to get these process IDs. How should I go? So for this string, I need to do a split. So to better, so I have some output, I need to work on it, right? Observe, I will show you some interesting problem. So till now, if any Python code is there, you execute directly. But here I want to do some operations on the end in output. So -I will do. The first time I am doing -I means execute the code and create an interactive mode in such a way that I can do further analysis. I'm just clearing the screen and running this. So Python file name till now execute. -I didn't do. But for the first time if you do, it will execute the contained script and the context will be there. Now whatever the variables are there, I can access them directly. So I can do a dot split. If I do a dot split, I get like entirely. But I don't want to split like that. But like I want to split lines. String has this concept of split lines. Means line wise I want to split. So each line I got it. The first line, the second line, third line, fourth line, like that. Maybe like in those lines, I want values from 1 onwards. Because the first line is a header, I don't want it. The remaining lines I got. So this is one line. So this is another line. This is the third line. So in these lines, I want to further split. So split by, if I don't give anything, by default it will split by so and so. So if I do a split, if I do like a dot split, will it do? No, because it's a list, right? For this entire list, I want to split each of the values. Now that's where you need to understand the map function. Map means what? You have a function. If you have a list of values, you want to apply on each of the values. That's where map comes. Map x stated x. First initially, let's take like this. So I will give like output dot split lines. In that you want to take from 1 onwards. So you give it. But map will give a optimized object. If you want values, you convert to a list. Now did you see what happened? You got the same list of values. Now what I can do for this map, if you are given an x, which is a string, for each of the string, first I need to split it. For the string, I need to split. Now did you see what happened? In each list, you got again a list of the strings, which are splitted. In that, you want to get the 0th values. Observe where I am giving. Here within that string, I am giving the 0th values. Now, did you get the list of things? So I am explaining you such that you understand this concept. So after getting the output, if I get like this, so I will get all the list of PIDs. So now I can give away PIDs. So now finally, if I exit it, now I need not run in an interactive mode. Just I need to run the code as it is. If I take the path and if I execute, did you see? So the PIDs means again I got like this. Means I forgot to take the 0th values, right? From these things. If I do like that, now if you see, I got only the PIDs. So if there is an error, we cannot do. So what I can do is like, hey, if output is there, Only if there is an output I can do this one, right? Give the list of PIDs. Else, so print the error. That's what we can do. So I converted the data type. I told you how things works. So why we need to convert the data types? Everything I told, right? So we are converting to strings and doing. It's a simple process. Now you can take it to a function such that we can replicate the same thing again. So what we can do? So step by step, I'm explaining you how do you create like a beginner. So every time, so the same process, subprocess.Popen. So they give the command and do it. So maybe like, let me give one more command. So another example, .py. Again, for you, I am doing from scratch. Import subprocess. So we need to create a process. Say subprocess.Popen. Popen. Whatever you have the command, that command we need to give. Maybe like this time I will write a function. So execute get execution result. It can be output or a failure, right? So I wrote like this. I get a command. For that command, I'm doing a Popen. And we want the output and everything. So for that, what we need to do? So whatever we have, the input, output, and all the things. std in is equal to subprocess dot pipe. So similarly, std out subprocess dot pipe. So some people think like, I will damn sure get a output. Then in that case, you need not write a std error. Or also see like what will happen if you don't write a pipe for std in. Sir, I know what is an input. I don't want the input. So see like what will happen if you don't give that. So finally, whatever you did, so we need to take the outputs. So output comma error is equal to p dot communicate. This is the standard structure. And after that, whatever the output is there, so we need to take like output dot decode of UTF-8. Similarly, error is equal to error dot decode of UTF-8. So this is the standard definition. So if output, so you want to print the output. Else, so print error. If you want in a single line also, we can do it. So this is how it works. Now, if you take this get execution result of, say like ls command I am doing again. The ls command, don't know why it didn't execute earlier, but hopefully it executes now. Better I will navigate to this directory. It's easy for me then. So clear. So Python C so and so. Did you see? Yeah, it is working perfectly. So ls in the current directory it is executing and giving me. Maybe like I will do user so bin say Python. So for that directory I'm asking to give me the list of files. It is saying no such file called as user bin Python. Maybe I will check user bin. So or like user bin Python is not there means Python 3 should be there, right? So I will check locally also. So ls hyphen user bin. So Python 3, yeah, Python 3 is there. So Python 3 is there. So similarly, I can execute the same. You see now, it is saying that, hey, so no such file like this, user bin Python. So generally what happens is that it's a best practice. They say that whenever you have a command with multiple things, they say that, one way it could be better helpful is when you have a command with multiple inputs, just do a split. So now it works. So what is this? I will tell you. Generally, when you have a commands, so mostly when you have a command, ls hyphen la hyphen earlier also it didn't work. The reason is this only that when you have like multiple things separated by a space, when the subprocess is taking the backend, it cannot take all of them. It don't know to differentiate between a space and others. That's the reason they say that you take a string list of values. So whenever you have ls hyphen la or anything for that matter, you just need to give a list of strings. If you give like a list of strings, then it will work. So how do you create a list of strings if you have a single string? Instead of you doing all of that nonsense, you do a dot split. So whether you give a list or direct string, it will work. Now let me do the previous command which didn't work. ls hyphen la, excuse me, hyphen la. If I execute that other command also, you can notice that. Did you see? ls hyphen la also working. Now every command works like this. So this is what I want to tell about the subprocess. So with subprocess, we can check the outputs. We can see. So with subprocess, we can execute anything like that and we can check. And similarly, if you want a process to just execute and see what is the output, so that also we can do, whether something works or not. And also there is one small module called as getpass. So we have already discussed about getpass, but still if I want to just tell 04f getpass usage.py. So getpass is very interesting module. So getpass, we have seen getpass when you are working with passing as an input. If I go one level above and 04f, if I see so getpass, if I say like print dir of getpass, you can notice that Python, so a usage. You see, this also has the OS module, this module, so ignore it. IO is another module I will tell after some time. But two things which are most important is get pass and get user. So this is the only importance of this module. If I say get pass dot get user, it will give the who is the current user of this system. You know, generally nowadays everyone will have their own laptops. But earlier what used to happen, in a single system there used to be multiple users to log in. So when whoever the user is logging in, that username if you want to get, we can use it. Now if you see, it is saying get pass is a function. So if I give a call, you can see, so code space is a user. If you do the same thing in your system, it will give you who are you, like that. And similarly, what is the usage of this get input? So what is this base64 module doing? If I first say, so something happening with this, not sure why Jupyter notebooks are, I think some issue with this Jupyter notebook at this moment. So let me open a .py file itself. Usage.py. Okay, let it give that .py file itself. Not sure why it is working weirdly. Fine, let me open. So this B64, what it does? If I take this import base64, if I do like a print of dir of base64, so I can navigate to the directory cd05. So clear and Python a so and so. Now did you see what are the list of attributes? Base64, this is kind of an encoding. You should be aware of the difference between encoding and encryption. Many people will think like both are same. But no, encoding is for a different purpose, encryption is for a different purpose. Let's say you have some books in your room. So to better manage the books, what you will do? You will arrange in a proper fashion in a shelf. Maybe like stacking every them side by side or on top, such that more books you can place in the storage, less storage. But it doesn't mean that no one can see your books, right? You just arranged them in a particular way. At the same time, so encryption means what? So you are trying to change it, or like others should not see, or others should not able to read it. Like that you are changing. Maybe like you are changing the language in which it is written, or book you are placing somewhere in a hidden place. That is all the concept. So encoding is needed both for at rest and at for transmission. Means like whenever you are transferring some data, you are encoding such that the data can be properly sent, such that in reception also you can understand properly. So, and it's not just base 64. So 64 bit is there. That's the reason base 64 came. Like that we have others also. Like base 32 is there, base 64 is there, base 85 is there. So like that many things are there. But predominantly we use base 64. That's what it says. You see base 8 is there, base 16, so base 32, base 64. So like that many things are there. But most commonly we use is base 64. So what is this base 64 used for? Let's say I have a sentence. Sentence is today is good day. Now this I want to convert. So for that I can say base 64 dot. So base 64 of. So B64 encode. B64 encode. V64 encode. We are encoding this sentence, which is a string. So we want to get that encoded result is equal to, and I'm asking, hey, give me that encoded result. So it's clear. So I'm just commenting this thing. So clear screen. I'm asking, what is saying? Hey, a byte length string is needed, not string. Observe this kind of errors very much common. You should be aware of. Whenever you do directly, it will throw this error. So you need to understand whatever the string that user has given, you cannot pass as it is. We need to convert that to a bytes. So earlier problem, what is that? You have a bytes, you convert to a string. Now first we need to convert the string to the other side. Now you see here, if you have like a string which is string type, and you need to convert that to the thing. So earlier we did a decode. Now I need to do a encode. UTF-8. Sorry, UTF, right? UTF-8. So maybe like result is equal to I'm doing, and I'm asking to print. So type of result. So now you should see. Don't you see it is of bytes? So earlier you converted from bytes to strings. Now string to bytes conversion. Don't get confused. It's a very simple thing. Maybe like whatever you have, that you need to do like this. So whenever you have any encoding, so you should do like this. Instead of giving like this, you need to do whatever you have. This encoding dot sequence is there, right? That you need to take. So whatever user is giving, that you need to take like this. So now if I ask, now did you see I got what? Today is a good day was converted like this. What is this, sir? Means like this only. So and if you want the original message back again, so then what I can do? So from the decoded value, I need to get it. So what I will do? Original message means B64.decode of that encoded message if you pass. Encoded message is anyhow in byte string. So we have seen just now itself. If I pass in, you get it. So this is the encoded message. So which is of type bytes. And this is the decoded message. This is also of type bytes. Means in real world, so we human beings only see the strings, but machines every time work with byte strings only. So that's where the bytes are more important. In the same fashion, if you want to do some other encoding, so for any other data type, you can do like that. In the same fashion, like by B64, we have like different other things. Take an assignment. So try like, so base 16. So base like 64, I have base 84 is there. So base 128 is there. So like that. So try all of them and how these encodings are working. So trees. The only point of this module is to encode and decode. So ultimately, whenever you are working with like images, even image data is also one kind of encoding only. Let me give you one example. So um, usage.ip ipynb, or like let me give, something is happening here. Yeah, well, let me take like this then. Something happened today for this ipynb. Okay, so something happening. So Jupyter Notebooks is not opening, but fine. So like this we can work. So not only that, in real world we use a lot of other things. One more another important small module is about 06. So py.env. So this is very useful module, because in real time we will not write the passwords and everything on a node directly. So usage.py. So generally what will happen is that if you want to use this module, we need to say like pip install this module. We need to install. So we should say like this, what python.env. Till now you have seen modules with the same names, but not every module will have the same name for installation. Observe this carefully. This can be due to different reasons. Maybe someone started that project and they left in middle, and someone else are continuing that. Due to that, they changed the name. So there are like different scenarios in Python ecosystem like this. So due to that, so this python -env, we need to run like this, pip install. So now if I do like a pip install so and so, what I'm trying to say, if this module is already installed, then upgrade it. If it is not installed, then install it. And -hyphen user means do it only for the current user. So if you are working within a virtual environment, this -hyphen user is not needed. So now it was installed. If you want to see, just now you installed a module. If I say like a pip list, if you see the list of all modules, you can see. Means some modules which will come by default, some modules you will install. All the modules that were installed, you can see it. So by default also some came, some modules we installed. So the python.env. So you can see the python.env. So it is saying, see, python.env. So what is the version it has? All that information it is showing. So this is how you work on installing a module and work on it. Now, what is that we can work here? Generally, if you want some environment variables, how you do? Import OS. So os.getEnv. This is how we get an environment variable. Maybe like something I am thinking of, say, AWS cloud, maybe credential. So access key, something I have. This is if you want to get the value. So I am asking to print the value. So then what will happen? So it tries to clear the screen. Python 06 clear Python a so and so. Did you see that none is coming? Because there is no such thing. In the same fashion, there is alternatively os.environ. Hope you remember os.environ. So environ also we can get, but the usage is different. From os.environ, if you want to get, we should give like this in braces. So with os.environ also we can get, but the problem with os.environ is if the key is not present, it will throw an error. So the key should be present. So if the key is not present, it will throw an error. That's the reason os.gettenv is the best option. If it is there, it will be good. But if it is not there also, fine. Because you cannot place your password within your code, you do like this. Then what is the other way of doing? So if you want to set this value, generally you do like set. So set that environment variable. So is equal to say 10 I give. Assume so something. Maybe like or a first I am writing. So this is how we set an environment variable. So after set, we did a set. Now I am running again. If I execute, so it will tell, means like it will take a restart or something to get it. But this system only we need to have, and every system we need to configure like this. So again, sometimes restart needed. Like these issues will come. To avoid that, they tell that hey, you need to write a .env file. Why a dot means it's a hidden file. So means they will not go along with your Git uploads. Whenever you do a Git push, this code will not go. So what they say is that what are the credentials, confidentials you have, you can place in this file. Say in this file, if you place, everything can be stored. Means like I gave some examples. You can have like a Redis address, something. So meaning of life, multiple variables. So or like you can write some exports. So this is a typical thing which I brought from a production server. So when they have a URL format, they are taking these two variables and doing both ways we can do. Now you see all these variables I can directly get. So previously I have something, right? This AWS confidential key something that also I can get. So maybe like I will write is equal to say second. That's it. Now if I do that, if I execute this code, will it work automatically? No, it won't automatically work. But we need to do some magic. What is that magic is? We need to import this module. We already installed, right? So there is something called as pydotenv. Generally, it's a best practice to make all imports in the starting, right? So also the built-in imports first, followed by other imports. This is the order we need to go. And after that, there is one more thing called as so py.env and find.env. Means this is most important. Means hey, in the current directory, try to find a env file, environment file it is asking. So whenever you have any .env file, it will give that either in the current directory or one directory above or one directory inside, like that it will do. Mostly it will prefer the current directory. If not, it will go to the next like that. So it found that in the current directory there is a .env file. Super. So it will recognize it. So from that, if you want to load it, so this is how we need to do. If you want to load, either you can do a dot load env or like verbose of called true, or like you can do like this, or the last way. So you did like the current directory with the os.path, right? Means I can do from pathlib. Hope you remember pathlib import path. It is very interesting I showed. Using pathlib, I can pass the path of current directory plus so and so. In the current directory, you have a .env. So you can do like this or explicitly also you can give. So anyhow, if you load it, then from that you can access whatever the environment variables you have. So here I wrote a list of a lot of attributes, right? All of them I can access now. See, before loading, if I ask this AWS cloud value, it will not give, but subsequently it will give. Observe carefully. Before also I asked about this AWS cloud access key, but it didn't give. But after that, if I ask here, hey, give me OS dot this one, AWS cloud access key. So it will give the value. See now, if I execute, it will give it. Did you see you got second? So means every time if you want to do it, so you need to write these lines in the starting of the code. So in your entire project, when you are creating, you write a .env file and just pass this .env file whenever you want to do. So this is the best way, right? Whenever you want to work. So this is what you need to be aware of. And similarly, this module is mainly for this purpose only. Like this, I am giving all production modules whenever small usage, but they have a very key role they play. So load env does not overwrite existing system environment variables. That's what we should be aware. If there is a system environment variable, it tries to get from it. If not only, it tries to get from it. So if you say like, set env in, sorry, set x, right? Set x env. Sorry, oh, why I'm doing set every time? I'm comfortable with Windows. That's the reason. Okay, in Linux, it's not set actually. It's an export command. So what are the environment variables? If you want to export, I need to do like this. Export some environment variable is equal to some value. Like that I need to do. So um, that is what happens. And also with this, we can do the setting of a key also. We can do like this. Means in that environment variable, if you want to update a new value, you can do like this also. Sometimes in some programs, if you want to update, you can use it. So one more thing that you should be aware is a small module to work is about the uh, there are few built-in modules I am yet to discuss, but still there are other more. If you say like pypi.python.org, this is the official site for the Python repositories. If you take, there were these many projects are there, these many releases like this. Means 4 lakh, so 54,000 modules are there. And some of them are like frameworks also. So that you should be aware. If I tell like, if I want to work on AWS, if I just click AWS, did you see how many things are coming? Or like if I want to work on something like a Airflow, in Airflow also how many are there? Airflow on top, or so and so. Or like anything. So if I want to work on security, I have a good number of modules in terms of security. What kind of so and so? Or like if I want to work on the QR code. So for QR code also many things are there. Let me take one of the module. If I need to work, you click on it. This is the step in which you need to install. And this is the usage they give. Means sometimes the modules, they will give extra extensions also. Means you just want QR code or pill module also along with it. So like that extension also they give. And how to use also they are giving the process. And you can create a text image and others. So if you want to go to their documentation, you see, if you want to go to the GitHub, go to the stars. Or like if you want to go to their project homepage, you can go. So their project homepage is directly GitHub. So that's why you are seeing everything here itself. Now let's see how to use this. If I take like this example of 07, say QR code generation. So QR code generation and reading also. Say like generation.py. Say I take some example and I want to generate the QR code for it. So the simple example is, first, if you want to use it, we need to install this module. Any module, the same story. So we need to do pip install so and so. And if you do like a -i, that's a best practice. Means whenever that module is already installed, it will upgrade it. If not, it will install it. So if you click on it, so it will install. After installing, you see here it is downloading and installing. So if you are in a private thing, means if you are in a different like a bank, so there you cannot install from the outside world. Then in that case you need to do -i, and you need to give your own private path. So path to private repository. So path to private repo, where like all your packages will be there. Generally in banks it will be like that. So in that you can do. So I have given a very quick example. So here, if I need to work, how I'm doing, see, I took a quick example from it to help you understand. It's a very simple message. I have some message where name, blog, email ID, so phone number, all these things are there. And if I want to create a QR code, I'm doing like pyqrt dot create the message. This URL it has created, and then if the currently if that file is not present, it is if it is present, it will remove it, then it will create it. So that's what we learned yesterday also. So how to create a file, how to process it. Now if I go into this, say if I go one level above, cd07, if I go so one level above 07 console, if I clear the screen, say Python a generation. Now did you see it has created a QR code? So this is a QR code image which it has created. In fact, created. So we couldn't see directly in this, so this environment, but it has created a QR code. You can see that. So like that it works. Any new module in tomorrow, so we can work on the next good things apart from this, like time modules and the concurrency, so and the random modules and others. Okay.